Saints and the Rhinos will contest the Super League Grand Final next weekend at Old Trafford. We are slap bang in the middle of the Grand Final season right now, because this is the Championship's big day. And coming up, we will see Featherstone Rovers against Sheffield Eagles. But right now, it's Keighley against Workington to see which team will gain promotion with Swinton into the Championship next year. Let's take a look at how these two sides have arrived on Grand Final day here in Warrington. Keighley finished second after the weekly rounds. Workington finished third, which meant that in the first week of the playoff series, they both had the weekend off. They actually met in week two, and Workington won 19-10 at Cougar Park to book their place here today. But the Cougars, well, they live to fight another day, and in last weekend's final eliminator, they made it to Warrington when they beat Rochdale by 38 points to 23. So it's Keighley against Workington. Let's take a check on the way these two sides will line up. Beginning with the Cougars, they've got Haythornthwaite at fullback, then it's Lawton, Sagar, Normington and Duffy. Jason Demetriou is the player coach. He's the standoff today alongside his scrum half, Jymel Coleman. Up front, it's Ryan Benjerfield, James Feather, who is the skipper of the side, Scott Law, Will Cartledge, Oliver Pursglove and Richard Jones. And on the bench, it's Smith, Schickel, Ray and Rawlins for the player coach, Jason Demetriou. Now the Maras from Workington, and it's Carter at fullback, Neil Fraser, Jason Mossop, Aaron Lowe and Elliot Miller, Darren Holt and Scott Kagan. Up front, Chris Coward, who captains the team of prop forward, Carl Ulstrom and Dave Armistead, Mike Whitehead, Joe McKenna and Jared Stack. And on the bench, it's Rory McGough, James Robinson, Mark Bainbridge and Chris Clough. And the coaching double act, it's Gary Charlton and Martin Oglenby. So here they come. They emerge from the dressing room for their big day. Keighley in the green and white hoops, Workington in blue and white. It's strange that we're not seeing Oldham running onto the field here, because Oldham have contested each of the previous four of these grand finals. They're not here this year, but these two most certainly are. Swinton then automatically promoted as champions. Will second place Keighley or third placed Workington join them in the top flight next year? It's a great day this for the championship clubs, and let's get on with the action straight away. Waiting for us in the commentary box, we've got Barry McDermott and Terry O'Connor, and first up, Ben Pro.
Thanks very much, Eddie. Tim Roby is the man in the middle for this one, and promotion alongside champion Swinton is the prize on offer for either Keighley or Workington, as the sides finishing second and third go head-to-head for a place in next season's championship. A fortnight to go, Town won at Keighley to reach this final, their second win in 3 clashes this season. But it's the Cougars' second grand final in 3 years here at Warrington, with Demetriou looking to get the club back into the championship at the first attempt. Workington then in possession first up with Neil Fraser, due to call time on his career at the end of this season. He wants to finish with a trophy and promotion obviously for his club. And they've brought a ton of support with them, Workington Town, 9 coach loads. They reckon between 800 and 1,000 people following them down from Cumbria. It's their biggest game in 10 years, according to the chairman. That's the early noise that you can hear in Keighley Cougars fans doing their best to roar on their team as well. The kick came in from Kagan there. Miller tackled. It's a good set for Workington Town.
That's a good opening set for the Workington Town club. Jared Stack, who played the ball last in that set of 6, he's a very important player, one of the best players in this division. Watch out for Carl Ulstrom playing at hooker, a strong running player. He'll get out from dummy half, and that's a big shot from the Australian.
That was Feather, this is Law. Keighley just 5 metres away from that halfway line. Tackle came in from Ulstrom. Jamel Coleman with a good ball. It's gone behind the line, it's still in play as well. Work here for Miller to do. And Elliot Miller does really well in a difficult situation there.
Well, that was an outstanding kick from this keeping side, and Jason Demetriou will be still upset that they lost the game a couple of weeks ago, but good return, get back into the field of play. But Keighley, they look up for this game. They're very disappointed to go down against Workington, and Jason Demetriou, he's the heartbeat of this side.
Here is Brett Carter, named in Steve McCormack's Scotland squad for the autumn internationals.
Quicker, Richard.
Back for Darren Holt, the evergreen Darren Holt. It's a kick, but straight into the arms here of Elliot Miller. Returning it with interest, and Keighley starting this set in the Workington Town half of the field.
Well, Darren Holt's kicking game will be a facet of this Workington performance they will need to get right. Deep kicks, high kicks, and the array of tactical kicks that Darren Holt has got in his locker will ultimately unlock the game.
Cartledge for the Cougars. Feather inside for Coleman. Here is Demetriou. It's the ball away. Just lost his footing there for a moment. Haythornthwaite it was.
Hold. Go.
Tackle came in from Carl Olstrom. This now is Normington. Dual reg with the Leeds Rhinos. Keighley attacking down that left side, and Feather comes back inside for Coleman. Just a grubber kick along the ground. Carter was in the right place, but it's come off him, and Keighley have it back there in the shape of Benjafield. This is a great chance for the Cougars. Here is Law, just a couple of metres away now. First opportunity for Jason Demetriou's side. The player coach in possession. Gets the ball away as well for Haythornthwaite. That's how close the Keighley Cougars are. Goes himself there from dummy half. Tim Roby says it's held up.
Well, that was good defence from Workington, but you know when James Feather gets in behind dummy half, he'll probably be looking to crash over.
Is that 3, yeah?
But a good read from Workington.
Carter with the crucial piece of defence.
Good shot.
Big hit there on Low, but he gets the ball away. Demetriou can pick up the pieces. Here is Haythornthwaite.
No, Jared. Hold. Go.
Demetriou's kick through is just on the button, and Danny Lawton gets the first try for the Keighley Cougars. Tim Roby confirms the 4-pointer created by the player coach, and Danny Lawton gets his 10th try of the season, and Keighley draw first blood in the Championship 1 Grand Final.
Well, you think that they take the wrong option when they go down the right side. It was man on man, but a clever kick, and Danny Lawton knew exactly what was coming up. He just got outside of the Workington players to ground this ball. But there was some good build-up play in this, and just watch this, Ryan Benjafield, he strips the ball, he gets all of it, and then it's James Feather. Workington switched on that attempt, but then just watch this for a clever little kick. He's pointing, the thing that they're going wide, and it's Jason Demetriou who puts that kick in. And the run from Danny Lawton, he times it to perfection. He just takes a couple of steps. Jason Demetriou pulls them up, and Danny Lawton, doesn't he look happy?
Danny Lawton looking to add the extras as well. He's given himself a really tough task from this near sideline. Demetriou just barking the orders out. Here is Lawton trying to compose himself. 61 goals so far this season. He's missed that one, but Keighley hit the front, 4 points to 0.
It was a wonderful kick, and it's always a gamble and a risk when you pop out on short side. But that risk and gamble was calculated by Demetriou, and Danny Lawton has the simplest of tasks. And the opening points go to the Cougars.
They drew first blood in this game. They drew first blood on Easter Monday as well in the 3 clashes between these sides, winning 38 points to 18 at Cougar Park. And Lawton with the 2 tries that day, and the perfect start for Keighley when it matters most. Law, Armitstead in the tackle there for Workington. Benjafield taken down by Whitehead this time, and Feather.
Well, there's a head clash there, Ben.
I think it's Jared Stack who's his own teammate.
Scott Law.
Tim Roby now aware of that.
It's Joe McKenna who clashes heads with Chris Coward, sorry. Nasty bang.
Staying on, mate.
Physio says he's okay.
Tackle 4,
Well, he won't thank his teammate for that.
Down on.
And there's Gary Charlton. He knows that it's a big physical start from both sides. But a good kick and chase. The kicking game is going to be so influential from both. And Darren Holt from Workington, we know he's so intelligent, but he needs to start finding the ground. The first couple of kicks he's got away, Keighley have managed to find it on the full.
Well, that was good line speed from Keighley. They're looking to just put the pressure on Workington, who are struggling to get out of their own 30-metre. They're just about on the 30-metre line now. And that's the third, coming up to the fourth tackle.
Good defence on show from Law originally there. Now the three-man party hunting the man in possession. Here is Kagan, decides not to kick, and it's a risky pass as well for McKenna, and he's lost the ball.
There was an overlap on the right for Workington, then two players outside, and they couldn't get the ball to him. But Keighley in good field position now.
When you talk about trying to get controlled offloads away, Joe McKenna had to have a second catch of that, and he just gets it away, but unfortunately to a Keighley player. Got to be more controlled, Workington.
Purse club down the left-hand side for Keighley Cougars. Here is Coleman. And now Law, taken down by Armitstead. Now Coleman again. Demetriou. Access working well early on for Keighley Cougars. Two halfbacks combining to good effect. And Demetriou with another kick. This time it's a bit higher, but Miller comfortable feeding that.
Well, Elliot Miller might have relieved. It was neither a high one or a low one. Just popped into his hands. A relatively simple task for Elliot Miller. But here's where Workington need to get out. And Keighley Cougars are very excited when they have their opponents down here.
Neil Fraser, his 14th year in rugby league since his debut in 1998 with Carlisle. 7 years here as well. Here is Armitstead, taken down by Law. Olstrom, lively, gets the pass away as well. On the bounce, it finds Jared Stack, one of the most sought-after players outside Super League. Jared Stack, the Australian.
He's a very dynamic player. Has played in the centre and obviously at loose forward, playing at 9 today.
Here is Kagan with space to work, gets a ball away from Mossop. Mossop showing a clean pair of heels to this Keighley defence. Back to Kagan. Oh, the pass just went astray at the last minute, but Workington showing what they can do in attack there. 60-metre move.
Well, Jason Mossop wasn't expecting that ball to come from Keegan, but this is the danger they got. It comes from Jason Demetriou. They've got to make sure that they're switched on and they play every play. You'd only get so many opportunities.
Ball spilled again, this time Benjafield with a rueful look, shakes his head. No pressure on him. Former Workington prop as well, Ryan Benjafield, 6 tries in 21 appearances at Derwent Park. 2008-2009 seasons there in Cumbria. Here is Stack. Holt. That's Whitehead.
Well, this is where Workington need to roll forward, and they need to roll forward in numbers as well. Try and isolate one defender, pull him out the line and create a gap.
Olstrom gives it to Chris Coward. Captain, 30 yesterday, Chris Coward. Now Olstrom. Kagan. Carter, short pass this time. Mossop, back for Carter, trying to make some space on the short side. Olstrom is there, flicks the ball out. Demetriou knew that was going to come in the right place and just gathers possession safely back for the Cougars.
Well, Workington, unlike Keighley Cougars, they went for the gamble. It didn't pay off. Olstrom on the blind side, goes right into the grasp of Feather. And now it's the Cougars' turn to try and get out of trouble in their own red zone.
Well, Keighley, their second grand final in 3 seasons. As Demetriou looking to get Keighley back into the championship at their first attempt. They beat Oldham 28 points to 26 here a couple of years ago and relegated 12 months later after a 9-point deduction due to salary cap issues.
Well, that wasn't the best. The kick straight into the hands of Elliot Miller. And Workington now should get over half. Where good defence again from Keighley. They are committing numbers. The speed around the ruck. The tight three defenders either side of the play the ball are getting up quick. And they know they've got to be strong. Jared Stack. Another good drive, and it's a penalty.
Yeah, that was always going to be a penalty. Jake Normanton ended up with his arm just around the ball area, and as he tries to get away, the ball's on the floor. Jared Stack looks right at the referee and says, "Can I have that one?"
So a chance for Workington Town to put some more pressure on this Keighley defensive line. Olstrom, Stack, looking to offload, gets it away as well. Now McKenna spins into the tackle, finished off by Jones. It was purse glove downstairs for Keighley. Olstrom, this time it's Coward. 5 or so metres away with Armitstead. Law with an important tackle. Olstrom went one way, came back the other, tried to find the gap himself there, Carl Olstrom. Armitstead's pass isn't the best. On the bounce finds Holt. Holt with a probing kick. They're going to get 6 more tackles here.
Well, Haythorn's way doesn't take any risks. He knows that Workington are pushing and pressing, and Danny Lawton with his back to play, he's unable to commit to it either way.
Well, you watch Carl Olstrom then, when he was behind the ruck, he's looking for Keegan or Holt to command the play and organise something. They look very disjointed in that attacking set, and is there a problem with James Feather?
Looks like he's struggling, bleeding from the nose.
Well, he plays it very physical, James Feather, and the physio will be on just to make sure that he's okay.
James Feather, 6th successive season with Keighley. You saw there, ever present back in 2008. Real linchpin of this Keighley Cougars side. Coleman with the dropout. Almost reaches halfway. McKenna returns it for Workington. This is Kagan. Now Fraser. Into the tackle there of Schickel. Olstrom. This time it's Chris Coward. Olstrom for Armitstead. Now it's Whitehead. Olstrom scampers away from acting half-back again. And now Workington Town really in that red zone as far as their attack's concerned, and Darren Holt with a superb crossfield kick looking for Fraser. Taken by Miller. But it was Duffy who came in and diffused that situation. That was great work from the winger, Gavin Duffy.
Well, Gavin Duffy catching that ball, he was under pressure from Workington, but a clever kick into the corner. They need to ask more questions, Workington, when they get down here. Good offload from Keighley.
Fantastic offload there, I think it was Schickel.
Well, that's a sign of confidence, that when you can get your arm free 20 metres from your line and offload the ball. Here's a player who will cause problems. Look at that. Gets it away to James Feather. Now that is a controlled offload.
Well, Schickel and Jermaine Ray have just joined the fray as the tempo of the game has just started to drop. So you think a tactical substitution from Dimitriou.
And it was Feather's kick that's put Workington under pressure. Brett Carter. There is Jermaine Ray. Key influence from the bench, the former Hunslet and York man at Keighley since 2008. Elliot Miller. Taken down by Pursglove. And now Stack.
3 defenders in again for Keighley. The defence has been fantastic. Up to 60 tackles now, just over 15 minutes.
Offload finds Carl Olstrom. And Olstrom through. Olstrom is away here. Carl Olstrom, what's the support like? Oh, Carter it was who was inside of him, couldn't take the pass, and Keighley have it back. They've opened them up a couple of times now.
Well,
With nothing to show for it.
Gary Charlton, the Workington coach, will be fuming. They've had 2 clean breaks and they've not failed to score a point. Carl Olstrom, he thinks that he gets the right pass away. Well, just can't take that ball. They're building the pressure. They're starting to get through the tackles, land on the front, generate some quick play the balls. But what's coming next? There's nothing there.
Here is Schickel for Keighley. Taken down by Olstrom. And now Feather. Stack with an important tackle. Feather wants to quick play the ball. They want to try and ramp up the pace here, Keighley Cougars. Jermaine Ray. Olstrom upstairs. McKenna round the legs. Here is Demetriou. Measured kick over the top.
Oh.
Gavin Duffy's claiming that he's got this, and I think that Tim Roby's going to hand this upstairs to the video referee, Ian Smith.
Well, my first impression is no, but I'll tell you what, it's a good sign. They're competing for everything. Let's have a look at the onside, offside. That's okay for me. Thumbs up there. Everybody behind the line. Does he get it down in time? Oof, well then.
No, he knocks that ball forward first. Just here, watch him now. He loses control of it. So it's no try. Workington, they'll be very, very relieved here, because I'm sure that Brett Carter thought that this was going to be a try.
Gavin Duffy looking for his 9th try of the season. I don't think he's going to get it. And Ian Smith confirms that. Gavin Duffy, the only Keighley selection in the Championship 1 Dream Team for 2011.
Well, Workington have some warning signs now. They cannot let Jason Demetriou just get the ball away whenever he wants to, because his kicking game, he started off, he's finding the corners, he's finding the ground, and he's creating an awful lot of havoc for Workington. Just having a look again, never gives up on that.
It's a fine effort, and it's a good sign for your team if they are competing. As we've said, there's Demetriou. We haven't seen many involvements from Coleman yet. He's very special. He gets the play, he's got a wonderful pass, a lovely swerve, and I expect something special from him.
Rollins up for the Cougars. Meanwhile, Armitstead with some space down the centre of the field again. The pass goes loose, and Keighley pick up possession. They're making the breaks, but not making the most of them.
Well, they're panicking.
Just wait for him here. Tackle one.
Dave Armitstead's a player who can get his hand free, and you'd have to support him. You'd have to make sure that you push up on either shoulder, because he will cause you a lot of problems.
Just wait for him here.
But Workington, they seem to be making the breaks, all of a sudden panicking and throwing the impossible pass, hoping one of the teammates is going to be there.
Just wait for him.
We watch Dave Armitstead. There's a problem in back play here for Ben Sagar.
I think that style would suit you,
Do you know,
Meters.
that's great, that.
There'd be a bit of a gap. There'd be some at the front, some at the back.
No, but I'm okay at the back. I'm okay at the back. See, I'd struggle at the top there, but at the back, I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
I've seen your beard, and it's just a bit lighter than that as well.
Hey, don't.
Sagar, an important strike threat for the Keighley Cougars. Got a couple of tries as they booked their grand final place with that win over Rochdale.
We just rolled his ankle there, Ben Sugar. It's a nasty one, that.
Tackle one.
In pain as he limps back to his position, and Keighley continue, and Sagar continues.
Hold. Go.
Coleman, now Cartledge.
3. No! Go, well done, mate, well done.
It was Whitehead who came in with the tackle. Here is Coleman to the line.
No!
Armitstead
Hold.
over the top
Go.
there. Feather, now Demetriou. Back on the inside for Jermaine Ray. Still not put to ground by McKenna. Gets the quick play of the ball as well, and Feather with some space. It's 2-on-1 in this corner. It's been spilled initially. Sagar trying to get possession back.
He's not right, Sagar. Still limping. I think, had he not got the ankle problem from a moment or two ago, he could have made a lot more of that. Danny Lawton gets up. It's a knock-on straight away from Elliot Miller, who we have to say is being put under an enormous amount of pressure with the kicking game of Keighley.
Hold the 5, lads.
Mentioned the Workington following here, but the Keighley fans making all the noise just as that decision was awarded in their favour. And it's a great position now for the Cougars with Jermaine Ray. Demetriou bumps off one, comes back inside. Ulstrom over the top, that was important. 2 others in there as well. Just 5 metres away. Schickel still going.
2. Release.
Whitehead over the top with an important tackle. Feather. And it's going to be James Feather who goes in. Tim Roby's going to have another look. James Feather so devastating from 2 or 3 metres out. And has he got another try here for the Keighley Cougars?
Well, watch number 4 here, Danny Lawton. Does he take out, is it Dave Armstead?
There's contact, I'm not sure whether he's took him out. He's not even looking at Danny Lawton.
No, if you watch Armstead anyway, he goes past the play.
Yeah.
James Feather spots that there's a gap and he goes in between where Dave Armstead has shot the line. I don't see there been a problem with this.
James Feather waits for the decision. The try is awarded by the video referee Ian Smith, and James Feather gets the 2nd try of this Championship 1 Grand Final. Extends the Keighley lead, and it'll be in double figures if they can add 2 extra points through Danny Lawton. But James Feather so devastating close to the line, and he's made them pay again.
Well, you've got to make sure that you can cope with pressure. And Elliot Miller makes the mistake, and it goes head and feet to Keighley. James Feather has already tried to get out from dummy half. He's had 1 try denied, but there was not going to be any denying him on this. Dave Armstead, he gets it totally all wrong. He goes past where James Feather is, and that's just a simple try. And you look back on that and he'll be very disappointed, Dave Armstead, with his effort.
Danny Lawton, unsuccessful with the first attempt. This is a kinder angle for him. This for double figures for Keighley. Off the post and in. The Cougars lead by 10 points to 0. Feather with the try. His 6th successive season with Keighley. Lawton adds the extras. And the Cougars begin to take a stranglehold on this match. 10 points to 0.
Well, Workington seem to be contributing to their own downfall. That was the 7th handling error from Elliot Miller when he failed to tackle and failed to handle that high ball. And they can't afford to keep giving possession away. 7-2 in terms of mistakes now.
Quarter of the game gone, and Keighley, as they have been for the majority of that opening 20 minutes, in possession. And Jermaine Ray continues to torment this Workington defence. McKenna in there for Town. Here is Pursglove. Now Coleman shows it, now gets the pass away to Demetriou. There's more attack on this right-hand side, and Haythornthwaite it is. Important tackle there from Aaron Lowe. They've really got the roll on now, Keighley Cougars, and Will Cartledge into that danger zone again. Last one coming up for Keighley. Ryan Smith waits on from the bench. More strike power, Demetriou. Pursglove tackled, and that's the last one. And Workington will have a relieving set of possession.
Well, Pursglove and Keighley won't mind handing that ball over in this part of the pitch. But if Demetriou finds the outside option, they had a 3v2 there on that side.
Fraser for Workington. Not the best pass. Holt has to try and pick up the pieces immediately, enveloped by a couple of Keighley defenders. Rawlins in there, Schickel in there. Now it's Miller. Ray comes in with the tackle, and now Ulstrom. Ulstrom at hooker. The long-term absence of Jack Pedley, the Championship 1 Young Player of the Year. Missed the playoff win over Keighley Cougars with a broken ankle, and that'll keep him out until next year. But this is a great run now, coming up from Gavin Duffy, gets to halfway. A counter-punch from Keighley Cougars, just as Workington looked to show what they could do in attack.
Well, the back three are positioning themselves perfectly, and Gavin Duffy catching the ball on the full enabling him to make yards up the middle of the park. It's easy then for the big fellas to come on tackle 2, 3 and 4.
Smith for Coleman. Schickel under the tackle there of Stack. Smith, Ray. McGough over the top for Workington Town. Last one coming up for the Keighley Cougars. Centre field, 15 metres out, and Dimitri with another probing kick. It's been spilled again. Eventually, Fraser gets hold of it, but it's a goal line dropout. The pressure ratchets up another notch as far as Keighley Cougars are concerned.
Well, again, a clever kick from Jason Dimitri and Neil Fraser, who knocks the ball forward. The Workington winger, just look at the pressure that he's under as the ball goes forward.
He's a very intelligent player, Dimitri. I'm not sure whether he's just playing with his eyes open, just judging the situation as he sees it, or the game plan is to see how many numbers we can commit to come forward and then just dink the ball behind.
Well, they just look like they're in scramble mode at the minute, Workington. Look at that, 3 players not controlling that play of the ball.
Keighley hunting more points. Coleman, and now Ray. Important defensive contribution there from Olstrom over the top. He was trying to get the offload away again. Here is Rawlins, and Rawlins with the power, and Rawlins with the try for Keighley Cougars. If the video referee Ian Smith agrees.
Well, I can't see anything wrong with this. It's a heck of a charge from Rawlins. He knows where he wants to go. He knows how he's got to get there.
Do you know what? There wasn't a gap. He just created one himself. He just run that hard and that strong. He wasn't going to be denied by Jared Stack. You can see that Brett Carter, he's trying to prevent him from scoring this try. Surely the ball touches the ground there.
Yeah. Be a desperate shame for Keighley and Rawlins if this is chalked off. Brendan Rawlins runs hard and strong, and for me, that ball's down. That ball's down.
Ian Smith taking every frame to make his decision. We await, and the try is given. And Rawlins continues Keighley Cougars' blistering start to this match. His 4th try of the season. And Keighley could be going 16-0 up here. Rawlins' 5th season in West Yorkshire following the capture from Balmain Tigers. 6 tries in 23 last year. And the 3rd try on grand final day for the Keighley Cougars.
Well, Jason Dimitri is terrorising Workington with his kicking game. The repeat sets that they're getting, Jermaine Ray playing the ball very quickly, and Rawlins, there's no footwork, all there is sheer speed, sheer determination, and look at the strength he carries Jared Stack over the line. And Brett Carter, he can't push him back and he cannot deny him.
In off the post again from Danny Lawton. 16-0, Keighley lead. Well, when these teams met a fortnight ago, see this kick again. This time off one post, off the other, over. And fortune smiling on Keighley Cougars, a smile from Jason Demetriou as well. Well, when these 2 clubs met just a fortnight ago, Workington were 13-0 up at half-time. They were 17-0 up with half an hour left, and they've repeated the dose. But they've completely turned this game around, because it's Keighley who is 16-0 up when it matters most in the grand final.
And that conversion, the very fact that it hits the post, means that it's a 50-50 chance of going, oh! A 50-50 chance of going over. Chris Clough comes right out of the line then.
Almost a strip there as well from Chris Clough, the former Keighley man. 3 tries in 8 appearances at Cougar Park back in 2006. Here is Carter from right underneath his own post. A great tackle coming in there from Pursglove.
Well, just look at that line then. There's nowhere for Brett Carter to go. And again, they're getting numbers in. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a slow play of the ball. Brett Carter, he looks up thinking, where's that line come from?
Well, we talk about the energy battle a lot, Tez, and the energy battle is being won by Keighley. And Keighley's kicking game and Keighley's enthusiasm once they pin their opponents down is what's winning this game for them. Every little aspect. There you see the Workington player on his back, slowing that player the ball down, which means there's a defensive line that's set, and that's a hurried pass. That's a desperate pass.
Pressure applied to Workington again, and Darren Holt under pressure to get the kick away, finds Kagan. All wrapped up now.
Tremendous work. Absolutely first class. Anybody that's watched Workington will know about Darren Holt's kicking game. And Keighley Cougars have said, you know what, Darren Holt, you're not having your own way today. Just look at this, they don't give him any time. Outstanding.
And the reward for that defence is 4 tackles or so in the danger area of the field. Here is Coleman. Demetriou. Good pass for Haythornthwaite. Stack with an important tackle, but how long can they repel more Keighley Cougars pressure? Smith for Coleman again. Trying to throw the dummy there. Stack in attendance. Whitehead as well. Demetriou. Taken. That was an important pinch there from Mark Bainbridge. Workington surprisingly back in possession.
Well, that's the first mistake from the captain coach, but I think Schickel was in the wrong hole. Demetriou had fixed the defender ill, and he wanted him just on his shoulder to go through the gaping gap. But a nice little present and a get out of jail card for Workington Town.
How can they maximise that? Armitstead with a drive. This now Mark Bainbridge.
Back here. Hold. Go.
Last one coming up. Fraser gets the pass away for Holt. Holt's kick is essential. Bounces comfortably for Haythornthwaite. Fraser effects the tackle on the 30.
Here, lads. Go. You're a mile off, mate.
Now Workington all offside. And Keighley with a chance to plant the ball deep in Workington territory again here.
Well, it's Chris Clough. He's trying to get off the line and inspire some of his teammates with a shot. He tried one on Jermaine Ray a couple of minutes ago, and he knows that they've got to be physical because they are losing the yards. And Gary Charlton will be saying to his team that, look, we can't give penalties away and keep inviting Keighley into our half.
Charlton, a player who has the distinction of playing for all 4 Cumbria clubs. Here is Richard Jones. Into the tackle there of Clough. Smith for Coleman. Now Schickel trying to bump up Stack. McGough over the top. Initially anyway. Smith trying to poach one. A la James Feather. Couldn't quite get over though. Coleman. Now Rawlins. Good offload back for Coleman and Demetriou. Haythornthwaite trying to make the extra man. Important tackle from Lowe and Whitehead. Last one coming up, 5 metres away. Demetriou, the danger man, gets a kick in, but almost, and Holt just pinches that ball off the floor. Just tries to leave the danger area as quick as he can.
Well, Roll gets hold of that ball, but Jason Demetriou's got too much time on the ball. They need to make sure that they get up and rush him, not let him put on the play that he wants to play. Again, look at that for hurrying defence on Armstead. And it's a mistake as well.
Well, you're right, Tez, about Workington's defence. This actually sat back and watched Demetriou then. Even though it wasn't the best kick, the reaction and the response to that is what gets them this ball back. Brendan Rawlins leading the charge and just giving them no chance to breathe.
Where's the scrum half?
McGough will to have lost the ball there.
Come on, someone get in.
Tim Roby not happy with the scrum.
There's only 5 players in the scrum. Lots of players change positions and you have different loose forwards.
Coleman for Demetriou. Now it's Normington. Gets away from Keegan once. The scrum half comes back for another go.
Move! Hold. Play the ball. Play the ball.
Wrestles Moss up to the ground, didn't like the
Play
tackle.
ball, got it.
And now Duffy. Duffy with the pass over the top. That's great work. And Persgrove is in for Keighley. But there didn't seem a huge amount of space to work with. And Oliver Persgrove uses it to maximum effect to get his 6th try of the season. And the 4th for Keighley in this Championship 1 Grand Final. All came about from the pressure applied by Rawlins. And it finds its reward in a 4-pointer for Persgrove in the corner. He got a try as they spoiled Swinton's championship party on Sky back in August. And now his 6th try of the season extends the Cougars' advantage.
Well, McGough trying to get an impossible offload away on Ollie Persgrove. He was actually involved in that tackle. But this is skill and this is vision. Ollie Persgrove just standing on the wing. He knows that Gavin Duffy's got him behind dummy half. And this is just clever play from the Keighley Cougars side. They're ripping Workington apart. And if Workington don't get hold of this game, it is going to be a long day.
See, there he got a try in the grand final defeat of Oldham a couple of years ago. A man for the big occasion. And Danny Lawton about to try and add 2 more points.
Well, Ben Scott Kagan, the scrum half for Workington, is on the floor. He was on the floor when that ball was played. He's just about off the pitch now, being helped away.
Huge blow this for Workington Town. One of their half-backs leaving the field. 24 tries this season as well, Scott Kagan, so a real strike threat for them. And it just goes from bad to worse for Gary Charlton, Martin Oglenby and the Workington Town side. No problem with the post this time for Danny Lawton, straight between the uprights. And Keighley Cougars go out to a 22-0 scoreline. It's the fans from West Yorkshire who are starting to party already.
I've just got one word here, Ben. Ruthless. There's a player injured for Workington on the floor, and the minute and the second that Keighley spot that, that's exactly where they go.
Darren Holt with the restart. Keighley inevitably in possession. That was Benjerfield, and now Law. Punishing defence though, led there by Clough and by Robinson, 2 of these substitutes for Gary Charlton.
Well, Workington going into this game, we're the form side, and give a penalty away. It's again, it's Whitehead.
Well, it's all the
you can see, to put the player in a dangerous position. That's what the penalty's awarded for.
Did look very dangerous.
Going into this game, Workington did won 5 of the last 6 matches, but it looks like they've got to the big stage. And they seem to have froze. There's no players that are performing like they did in the earlier rounds.
Well, he's got it. 1. Move! Hold.
Haythornthwaite played the ball. Now it's Persgrove.
2. Move!
Holstrom first up with the tackle, finished off by Clough. Again, they go down that left-hand side with Normington. Takes 3 of them with him, and the ball's come out, and Fraser has it back for Workington Town.
0. Move!
Well, did he try and get that ball away and offload it?
0.
And was there a hand in?
1. Move!
Either way, Workington Town have it back, and Holstrom away this time for McGough. Holstrom to the left-hand side.
3. Move!
Holstrom. That was Bainbridge.
That was a good spot. Jason Demetriou came out, spotted the danger, hurried the Workington play, and Keighley have got the ball back again.
Well, they're just not fixing any defenders at all, Workington. It's very easy to read.
2.
And they seem to be buying time as the offload. But again, they're first to the breakdown.
Demetriou's short ball for Cartledge.
Well, that's how you run onto a ball.
Coleman, Demetriou, just a shrug off Carter.
He's all over this pit. He was on the left a minute ago, he's back on the right.
That's 4. Go.
Plays the ball for Ryan Smith, shows it to one, tries to examine the line himself. Last one coming up. Keighley just 5 metres away again, and Coleman trying to throw a dummy, trying to use his strength, gets the ball away as well for Jones. And Jones step his way, almost stretch the arm out.
No advantage, turnover on the 10.
No advantage, says Tim Roby. Turnover.
Is there any markers on the line there?
Keighley.
Oh, he's having a go. And it's the magic thumb.
Looked like Holstrom got a touch there. Well, we saw Scott Kagan go off a few moments ago with that injury, and Rod stood on the sideline, perhaps could tell us more.
Yeah, it looks like turning into an unmitigated disaster this for Workington Town, doesn't it? And not helped by that injury to Scott Kagan. You know, but he couldn't put any weight at all on that right angle as he's being helped off the pitch, so he's on the bench getting some treatment. The only good news is that it's pretty close to half-time, less than 4 minutes from the break, which will mean that they can try and get some treatment there in the 15-minute half-time interval, but it's not good, and they're not really hopeful that he'll be able to return.
Thanks, Rod. Plenty of work then for the backroom staff to do, plenty of work for Gary Charlton to do, because Keighley have just bossed this first 40 minutes. Workington, they'll have a penalty.
And there's an obstruction when this kick goes up. Just watch the Keighley player, just obstructs him, changes the direction of his run to obstruct. 20-30 vital metres now for Workington. It's really important that they get something going into half-time. Was that forward?
Stack hit that ball at some pace. If Workington Town can strike here, there will be seeds of a recovery going into the half-time break, perhaps. Here is James Robinson.
That's forward, that. It looks good, but...
Couldn't get the pass away there, Chris Clough, for McGough.
Go. It's 3.
Now it's Holt, the danger man for Workington, puts a angled kick in. Watched all the way, though, by the Keighley defence, and Haythornthwaite
Hold.
safe under that.
He does very well. It's a difficult ball along the floor. Feet and boots flying everywhere, and Danny Lawton being driven back. Is it Workington's turn to apply some pressure while in defence?
Well, but did Holt kick on the third tackle? You would have thought he would have had a look at the defensive line again on the try line. They've not been up there that many times. So when you get up there, at least try something.
Keighley in possession with Law. It's been a faultless 40 as far as they're concerned. Coleman has the Workington defence chasing shadows, and then puts a great kick in over the top. The chase is a good one as well, and this is going to stay in the field of play. More work here for Miller to do.
That's wonderful.
Look at the chase from Keighley.
Wonderful kick. Lovely footwork, avoiding the oncoming defenders, and gets, again. Fantastic work from Keighley. Richard Jones leading the way.
Carter didn't like it. Fraser. Now Stack. Demetriou in there. Pursglove in there. And now Clough. Approaching the last minute of this first half. It's been all Keighley Cougars, and Darren Holt again has to kick Workington Town out of trouble. Haythornthwaite to return it.
And again catching it on the full though. The back three have just closed this pitch down, and Haythornthwaite again catches that ball on the full, and now they're 40 metres from Workington's line.
Well, there's no difference in the intensity when they're attacking or they're defending. The reason he catches that ball is there's a great defensive set before it.
Pursglove for Keighley Cougars. Coleman. Demetriou. Look one way, past the other. Gave it to Cartledge. Demetriou again, this time goes for the one-pointer. Wide with that, but that's about the only thing that Jason Demetriou's done wrong in this first half.
Well, that was his poorest kick. But it's all about attitude, whether they've got the ball or they're defending Keighley Cougars. They know that the initial contact in defence is very good, and Workington must improve.
Well, it's been a fabulous 40 minutes for Jason Demetriou and the Keighley Cougars. They have really put a marker down in this first half, and at half-time, they've almost can feel the Championship 1 playoff trophy coming their way. 4 tries to 0, and at half-time, Jason Demetriou and the Cougars lead by 22 points to 0.
Yes, Jason Demetriou in his first season as player coach of the Keighley Cougars in a grand final, and by the looks of things at half-time, on their way up to the championship. 4 tries without reply and 3 kicks that have gone in off the post, 1 or 2 of them as well. All Keighley in the first half, 22-0.